Hello. It is Monday, the 20th of October. Tomorrow we have, according to Western tropical astrology, a new moon, I believe, in Libra. Could be wrong, but it's okay. I'm here to talk about energy. I'm here to talk about the pulsing energy of the day and how it might affect our week. And I'm also going to pull some cards because pulling cards is really fun and I enjoy doing it. And right now, I think there's so much going on that it's okay to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to start by just going for the card first from the Secret Language of Color cards. And I'm just going to shuffle them a bit and then I'll pull one. And then I will talk about the card, the energy that I'm feeling from the card, and how it reinforces what I'm feeling about the energy all around us. Of course, no matter where you live, it can't be denied that things are kind of rough out there right now. And even those of us who are really in our sovereignty, it feels very strange because we're calling forth this like new world vision from inside of ourselves, but we're also getting like bombarded from the outside. So it's really important that we are what I call a planet instead of a dwarf planet. If you want to look that up, basically someone who has achieved what I would call planet status is very aware of their energy, their energetic boundaries, and their energetic orbit, such that nothing can get in, because the only way that something can affect you and get into your orbit is if it resonates with you. And everything that I say will always be from my point of perspective and my lens. And I always wish that anybody who encounters any information that comes from me takes it as it resonates. So yeah, being bombarded from the outside while trying to build a new life, a new world, a new vision from the inside. And there's a lot of fear out there. And one thing I say about fear is a bamboozler. It's okay to be aware of your surrounding. It's okay to be aware that something that's presenting as fear might just be new information that doesn't have a nice category to go into. But fear can override your free will. So just be very careful with that. There's a difference between fear for fear's sake and fear because something could happen, So just the way I kind of suss out things is it usually goes to my stomach first, and then I, take it to my heart, take it to my head, and kind of find the balance between the three. Like, because I take all the information in from my stomach, and then I see how it feels to me, and then I go up to my mind. And that's the other thing about being a planet versus a dwarf planet, because a dwarf planet has garbage in its orbit. So that's where things that are outside of you can affect you. So like when any type of spiritual person will talk about an entity or anything like that, like once you are a planet and you are in control of your personal orbit, that does not happen, because the only way that something can get into your energy field is because you're letting it, either passively or by choosing it. And it doesn't matter. It's still going to affect you the same. So if you're finding a lot of judgment outside of yourself, go inside of yourself and ask yourself, where am I judging myself and others? Because that is like a permission slip energetically for judgment to be seen, so that you can go, oh, I'm supposed to be seeing myself more clearly in this moment. So if there's anything that makes you uncomfortable, see where inside of yourself maybe you are doing it to yourself or others. All right, first card. I'm just going to pull from the middle of the deck after shuffling. I'll show to you folks first. If it's upside down, I'll flip it over. And I just like for all of us to, I apologize, you can't hear me when I hold the card up. I would just like for everybody to use their own discernment and how does this card make you feel? And everybody kind of has a different way that they assimilate energy. Some people are really in their thoughts. Some people feel things through like their stomach or their hearts. Some people feel called to action. Just whatever your first way of assimilating information is coming in, where does this card make you feel a certain kind of way? I'm going to flip it over. All right, so to me, this card says everything. So first of all, it's 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. For me, 7 is divine truth. And also, I want to talk about the color pearl. Like, it's beautiful, it's iridescent, but you can't see through it, right? It's not transparent. And right now it's October. The veil is doing weird stuff. The closer you are to getting something that you've been working on, sometimes it's like you feel like you're getting tested or things get harder. I guess I'm bringing this all back around to say, where in your life are you not trusting your path? Where in your life are you saying, I need to make this make sense? I need to make this logical. I need to fit in. And a big theme lately for me, and usually I feel that anyone who feels called to watch anything that I put out, they are going to resonate with what I say. For me, there's been this huge push for not needing external validation. So, where in your life are you doing something just to get external validation? And I don't mean this in like a super needy way. I mean it as simple as, where are you leaving yourself just to prove to others that you're allowed to be who you are? And I know that this is going to make sense for who it's meant to make sense for. And just like I said at the beginning, anything that doesn't resonate, just completely forget it, because this is all about resonance, baby. And that's the other thing I want to talk about. Your focus is what grows. So when you're paying attention to something, whether it's something you want to grow or not, the fact of the matter is that what you focus on is going to grow. So if you're always focusing on perceived judgments of others, or maybe you're at a very different time in your life and you've never experienced anything like this before. Maybe you're a brand new mom and all these different people are telling you how to parent your child. And what you'll also realize is a lot of people that are telling you what to do are the people who aren't doing the same thing that you're doing. Okay. And I think that so many things are shifting right now, that the way that we used to perceive a lot of different things is changing. Just because something has never been done before doesn't mean it won't be done before. Before we had the capability to fly airlines or fly airplanes in the skies, that had never been done before. So don't let anything like that discourage you. And what I mean is, if someone says something can't be done, they are simply telling you their own limitations and not yours. Moreover, there's a difference between being secretive and having privacy. And privacy, much like your focus, is a huge superpower. Say you want to quit smoking cigarettes. Don't tell a soul, just do it. Because when you're telling people, you're asking for their external validation. And then you know what else happens when you're asking for external validation? You're not relying on yourself. You're not really honing in on your personal power, knowing that you don't have to prove anything to anybody, ever. You just have to live with yourself. So I'm going to show you the card again. Where in your life are you trying to control the narrative? Where in your life are you trying to control the path? Now, I'm not saying that you don't have control, but right now, everything is so messy. In my opinion, and from my perspective, everything was a thought with a strong emotion attached that then was created into fruition. So, the one thing I can tell you for sure is there are all of these changes that are already made. They are already done, signed, sealed, stamped, done, contract fulfilled, whatever you want to call it. But you don't see it yet because it's not done in the physical. Things take longer in the physical. And that's another thing. When you are connecting to the divine, when you are connecting to your inner being, when you are connecting with your soul purpose, whatever you want to call it, you are creating from the inside out. You are creating energetically with your mind, your thoughts, your heart, your intention. You have to wait. You can't be impatient. And sometimes the only thing you're meant to do is literally nothing. And that is the same thing as trusting the divine. Now, it's a case by case basis. I'm not saying that this is always the way it's going to be. And in fact, I don't know. But for the most part, a really good rule of thumb would be, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything. I have this saying that I say, and it's, you cannot miss out on what is meant for you, but you can get in your own way, which makes it take longer. Because once you're doing too many things in the physical, then the energy that's already stacked up has to reassimilate in some way. So trust yourself, trust your truth, trust your knowing. And I know it's hard, guys, and you'll get there. All right. I want to do one of these cards. We're going to check in with a spirit animal. And again, I read the cards from my perspective. If you want to Google the deck and the card to get the meaning from the book, you're welcome to do so. And let's see what the next one will be. There's also a lot around boundaries right now. There's a lot of endings, which what is an ending really? It's a new beginning, right? The energy never dies. It just becomes something else. And what's coming into my being right now to tell you is that some of us have had such big emotional, energetic clearings. Perhaps you had some phantom pain that you didn't know what caused it. And one day it just stopped happening to the point where you were like, this is so weird. I don't have to like wake up and baby my left foot because I don't have that left foot pain anymore. But maybe you feel like a sadness or something. So when a big chunk of energy leaves us, it's creating a void. It's creating a void so that something new can come in, some new energetic expression that is of a more higher calling, of a more fitting frequency for you at this time. But it doesn't come without some type of, I guess you could say, an energetic signature. And I do feel like sometimes when we just feel sad and we don't know why, that's actually what's happened is we've just let go of some cluster of energy that had stayed with us for a really long time, and we finally allowed it to be free. And if you ever do any of my meditations, most of the time we will start with, not necessarily in the same order every time, but we definitely do a physical clearing, an energetic clearing, an anchoring and grounding into our root center through the core of the earth. So it's basically like you're doing this whole cleansing before you go on your meditation. So you're centered, you are grounded, and you've cleared your physical and energetic space. And one of the best ways to clear your physical space is to just really picture every single cell, organelle, blood, connective tissue, bone, every single piece and part of yourself, inside and out. Envision it. Envision yourself filling it with yourself. And you do the same thing with your energy. You claim your energy. You say, all of this energy belongs to me. It's mine. It's different than everyone else's energy. And that's okay because we're all meant to be different and distinct because we all have one thing that we can do in the way that we can do it, that no one else can do it. And that's why it's so important that we aren't lying to ourselves and we aren't people pleasing, and that we're trying every single day to see everything from a higher perspective of consciousness so that we can really realize that the whole point of life is unconditional love. And everything else that isn't unconditional love is literally a distraction. And we vote on which distractions we want to see in our external stimuli by our attention and focus to it. If someone pisses you off in traffic and you decide to focus on it, then the rest of the day, perhaps you might see that everybody's out to get you. Whereas if you let this person just carry on their own way and you just kind of laugh it off and you're like a duck, you say, it just went right off my feathers. You're going to forget about it and you're just going to laugh the rest of the day and you're just going to have the greatest day. Okay, what is this card? I'm going to show you. So for those of you who know me or are familiar with me in any way, this is pretty much how I see myself. I see myself as a unicorn, and take that for whatever it's worth to you. I don't see myself as above or beneath anything, but I do really feel like, I don't know, I just have a way of seeing and feeling the world that is just me. And I think this goes along with this card too, when we were talking about external validation. You don't need anyone else's approval but your own. You don't. You don't. And that's why you work on yourself every day. And you ask yourself in the silence, where am I not seeing myself clearly? And if you're really lucky, then you'll have some friends that are actually really good at helping you see yourself clearly too. Let me think if there's anything else I want to say about that. Just, I don't know, be yourself, trust yourself. Like there's a reason why you're here. And it's not in what you have to do in a day. It's just all about who you are. Like, who are you? Because your deeds don't make you who you are. You are who you are. Your deeds reflect who you are. Or if you're not being yourself, they're reflecting who you want other people to see you as. But here's the fun part. If you're always kind of hiding pieces and parts of yourself, you're never going to really know who your people are. And it is scary, but it's also really cool. So just take a chance on yourself. All right, we're going to pull one more from this deck. Let's see what they have to say. Do-do-do. So yeah, so far I would say the energy of today and lately is to just seek your own approval. Try to see where you're seeking approval from others. Like, obviously, if you work a job where, you have expectations set for you every day and your managers are, providing you feedback on that, that's for your discernment. My advice is not just blanket advice for every single specific instance that could ever happen. It's basically like everyone has to use their own discernment. And just once you start seeing yourself more and more clearly, you see yourself more clearly. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, here's the next card. When I look at this card, it makes me feel so good inside. And I think so many different things. So, first, 4 + 2 is 6, which to me, and again, there are certain things in numerology that perhaps might be set in stone, kind of like any kind of a label. For me, labels are very transient, and you just take what it means for you. For me, at this moment, it's 1 past 5, and 5 is change. So, whatever you have set into motion, maybe today you're having this day where you're like, why did I work so hard and nothing's happening? It is happening. It's just we're being a little impatient. But also, what brings you joy? And I'm thinking of like going in your car and playing your favorite song and singing along to it, opening up your windows because it's 70 degrees outside and doing the little thing with your arm as you listen to your favorite song as you're singing along. You know what I mean? On, the small back roads so that you don't have to be worried about hurrying or anything like that. You're just enjoying the moment because that's truly what life is. It's a series of moments. And so if there's a moment that doesn't feel good, you don't have to focus on it. You can shift your focus to what it is that brings you joy. Instead of acting out against yourself, which is sometimes what we do when the energy feels like how it does today. I feel like it feels sticky in our solar plexus. Like it's restless, it's bored because it's intelligent. But sometimes we just have to chill, chill, baby Bill. Also, this card, and I'm going to show it to you again. It kind of has two parts, the underwater part and the part above the water. And if we were to say that the flowers represented joy, the joy goes all the way up to the top. Perhaps this is where we are. We're still creating from the void, and this is where we see things in the physical world. Well, the joy is in the journey. And I don't know what kind of bugs those are, but they're cool looking. They almost look like dragonflies, but I'm not sure. So joy. What brings you joy? Okay, I do feel like I want to pull one more card. We're going to pull it from this deck. And I'm very unconventional in everything that I do. So these are actually not tarot or um, oracle cards. They're just cards. Ask and it is given. And it's okay to be different. What is for you might not be for other people. You don't have to, like I said, you don't even have to tell other people. Like if you have a different way of seeing a situation and you don't think that telling a certain person about your view is going to do anything except for like make them have a conflict with you, you don't have to tell them. Again, that seeking external validation. Actually, before we pull this card, I want to show you guys the unicorn card one more time. I want to know what you get out of that. Another thing I see is there's no difference between you and the cosmos because everything is fractal. So, all the planets and asteroids and dwarf planets that are influencing the energy of our planet, planet Earth, we are influencing them and they are influencing us, like the Hermetic principle, right? As above, so below. Everything is everything. So when you pass each person on the street as you're driving or on your walk or whatever, you don't even have to make eye contact with them or say hi to them, but you can just imagine yourself beaming them love from your heart because they are a part of you just as you are a part of them. Just like we're all drops in this huge wave that is the everything that exists. And the unicorn doesn't look worried about it at all. Focused, perhaps. Worried? No. Restless? No. It says, I am attracting its vibrational essence. And then on the back, you can allow it or not, but the basis of your world is well being. The law of attraction says that which is like unto itself is drawn. And so the essence of whatever you give your attention to is unfolding in your experience. Therefore, there is nothing that you cannot do, be, or have. This is law. So, again, as Pam Gregory says on her astrology podcast, focus is your superpower. I've always said, as long as I've been doing this, what you focus on is what grows. Because when you're paying attention, your attention is your strongest form of currency. Do you realize that? So anything that you're paying attention to, you are paying, you are investing part of yourself into. So kind of maybe suss that out for yourself. What does that feel like in your body? Maybe like write that down. Maybe put it into like a little mantra and put it in your pocket so that you can remember. What am I watering in my personal garden with my focus, which is my superpower? Where am I focusing on things that I don't want to grow? All right. That's all I have for today. Have a lovely day and week ahead. See you later.